Welcome to the Social Podcast, where no discussion or debate is off limits.
Oh, yeah, it's a toasty Tuesday, isn't it? Welcome to the Social, everybody. We'd like to welcome back to the show comedian Elvira Kirk. Welcome back. All right, so listen, I don't know if you've seen this story, but Greenpeace has a message for Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez. This is what it says. If you can rent Venice for your wedding, which is happening very soon, you can pay more tax. Hey. The two are actually set to wed later this week in Venice, and protesters are accusing the couple of contributing to over-tourism there and also contributing to the climate crisis. But city officials are saying they are actually accustomed to these high-profile events and that the celebrations are expected to bring in anywhere from 20 to 30 million euros to the local economy. So they're not mad, I guess. So, Elvira, these protests, are they warranted?
Oh, wow. I'm really torn on this one. On the one hand, Jeff Bezos, like all the ultra-rich, are responsible for destroying the planet that we live on. On the other hand, he's morally bankrupt. So I am leaning to a hard, yes, protest. Come on. Why are there even multi-billionaires? Honestly. I have their special day. I don't care about their special day. I really don't. And is he not able to read the vibe of the globe?
That's a good question.
The planet? This is a bad look.
It's okay, but here's a question. This is a very serious question. It's, the saying, don't hate the player, hate the game. Mm-hmm. Is he not rich because the U.S. tax policy system allows people to get rich like that? Is that his fault?
No, sure. Well, okay, so
I'm just saying, if you could take advantage of a tax loophole, wouldn't you?
I think it's more...
We should be more mad at the U.S. government is what you're saying.
Okay,
can we be mad at both?
Sure. Can he also not do a course correction? Look how I've benefited. And so therefore, I am going to distribute my insane wealth that was acquired in this gross manner.
Be more of a philanthropist.
Well, sure, do better.
I mean, I do think that the protests are warranted. So some numbers. In 1990 in the United States, there were 66 billionaires, which is already too many in my opinion. But as of 2024, there are 813 billionaires in the U.S. That is more than any other nation.
So Jeff, it's none of us.
It's none of us.
That's the problem.
Jeff is, of course, one of those. And he has managed to go to the tax issue to pay zero federal income taxes in multiple years. This has been reported about. His tax rate from 2014 to 2018 was under 1%. I don't know about you, but I'm paying 50% of taxes. And I think that it's these really, really ultra wealthy who are able to amass these immense amounts of wealth and then be sort of gratuitous about it. It's he's getting private jets. All his guests are probably getting private jets in there. We know
because
the environment.
They're all tax write-offs. That's legal.
I know it's legal. So I know that you're saying that what they should really be protesting is the government and the fact that the United States government allows this to happen. But I think you can protest both. And I think that they should be protesting this because people are frustrated. And I would much rather people spend their time protesting things like this than wasting their time fighting somebody on the internet like a celebrity they're mad at.
Right.
Fight this. Try to.
At the very least.
That's such a good point, which makes what I'm about to say so uncomfortable. If I got an invite, I'd want to go. I like to see... Listen, I'd love to go to a wedding that does not have a budget. Don't tell me you don't want to see how much money they're spending on the flowers, that centerpiece, her dress, how many dresses is she going to wear. I want to see all the celebrities who are going to be there. But I think all of these are very valid points, but I think the issue is it's more about Jeff and not about how rich he is. There's something about these new tech billionaires and all these billionaires trying to be celebrities that is rubbing people the wrong way. Because I'll remind everybody, George Clooney got married in the same location back in 2014. That wedding cost over $4 million and not a single protest. And I'd imagine that he's in the same tax bracket and no one had an issue with it. I think it is something to do with these guys, these nerds who are turning into celebrities who want to hang out with Oprah and they want to hang out with all these celebrities. That is upsetting people. But I'll tell you something, Jeff, if you're watching, you want to invite me, I'm free. I'm going. And then I will come back and report to everybody about how they spent their money.
I think, listen, I love Greenpeace. They've done great work. Greenpeace is behind this. There's another UK. But I just want us as the consumers to understand something. You can at least argue that Jeff Bezos, he is the second richest man in the world, but you can at least argue that he has provided hundreds of thousands of jobs, okay? You can at least say that.
But they are all about, half of them are about to go away because of AI,
okay,
right?
that's a whole other conversation for sure. But you can at least say that. But some of them are making very good money. In my hometown of Bolton, there are hundreds of jobs that have been created because of a huge Amazon distribution center there. So I can't be just mad at that. But if you want to protest billionaires, then you should maybe protest with at least education. Did you know that the biggest tax haven on the planet right now, if you are a billionaire, is owning a sports team? Did you know that?
Oh.
So, you know, everyone thinks, oh, all these celebrities, they're buying a sports team because that's like a vanity flex. You can actually write off almost your entire purchase. You can even write off players' big salaries. So if you're going to protest a billionaire, protest Steve Ballmer, who bought the LA Clippers for $2 billion. He wrote off instantly $1 billion of it, and then he had an $80 million contract. He wrote off all of that as well. So get mad at the celebrities buying teams because they ain't paying a dime. Don't just get mad at Jeff.
Yeah, but I think that's everything.
Don't just get mad at Jeff.
But it's a Jeff thing. That's why I said it's not about how much money he makes. It's a Jeff thing. There's something about him and his fiance and the way that they live their lifestyle is rubbing people the wrong way.
I agree. You know, and they have the money. If they want an exclusive private place where no one's going to protest them, go to Mars. Rent Mars. do you know
My friend Elon can get them there.
Probably listening.
Right? And I think my takeaway from listening to what you just said, Mel, is that we should definitely pool our money and get a sports team. Come on, everybody.
Yes!
How much?
It's a good idea.
I don't know how much money you think we have in our savings account. I ain't got it.
We're going to stick with celebrity weddings because Paris Jackson, Michael Jackson's daughter, told Access Hollywood that her wedding date was picked by an astrologer. And she explains it by saying she's from LA after all. So is this reasonable or is it ridiculous?
I mean, listen, she's not wrong. It's so LA. Isn't this so LA?
I say you don't really have to be from LA. You can also just be a certain kind of lesbian. Guys, I am so interested. I almost had to cancel today because Pluto is doing something funky in my 12th house.
No way. Really?
Not good, people. It's not good.
It seems to be going just fine for you. I was going to make fun of Paris until I realized I picked my wedding day based on astrology.
No way.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Specifically Chinese numerology. If you are a year of the snake, which I am, the year of the fire snake, 3s are very powerful. So everything in my wedding is based on multiples of 3. And you can look up my wedding date on Wikipedia, I'm sure. And then on top of that, because Ryan and I are both Cancerians, our ruling celestial planet is the moon, obviously. So our first dance was to Frank Sinatra's Blue Moon. So it all worked out. And we've been married almost 18 years. So it's all
That's fantastic. Listen, I'm not, listen, if you want to believe in that and you don't want to get married because Mercury's in retrograde, do you, girl. I'm not here to judge you. I have friends who live in LA who base their C-section on the specific astrological sign.
Did you do this too?
Did you do this?
We totally did. We totally did. Well, because I was not going to contribute any genetic material to our first baby. So her birthday was scheduled for sometime in December, early December. I'm December 9th. And so it was like, oh, great, we're going to share the same sign. And then my partner had developed high blood pressure, and so they said C-section. It's going to be in November. And I'm like, ugh, Scorpio. No.
I'm sitting right here, Sarah. I'm sitting right here.
You don't have to tell me. You want to be invited to Jeff Bezos' wedding.
Oh my.
You don't have to tell me you're a Scorpio.
True. I do want to go to Jeff Bezos' wedding.
Go on. So
I said, listen, as long as there's no danger to the mother, can we push it to a little so that it's at least a November Sag? And so that's what it is, November 29th.
Too bad. Your child could have been set up for greatness, but now we'll never know because they're not a Scorpio.
Oh my gosh!
Let's dive into our next one. Michelle Obama joked that she's so glad she didn't have a baby Barack Obama while chatting about the challenges of raising young men on her IMO podcast. So, Elvira,
Yeah.
do you understand the reluctance to have a boy child?
Well, she was really, it was a more fulsome topic. The pressure of a son to have to bear the reputation of the father, but also just the fact that she was being pressured or was asked or to think about having a third, and that's where I relate to her not wanting a third child. I have 2 children, and I am barely hanging on by a thread.
Did people give you that? Did people ask you a lot? Are you going to have a third? Are you going to have a third?
Yes, well, we're very fertile as 2 lesbians. So it requires a little bit of effort. That's how virile I am.
Gotcha.
But I do have a son.
You have one of each.
I have one of each. I have one of each, and I worry about them in different ways. And I think they feel pressure in different ways. With my daughter, I really worry about her. She's a young woman now, about her owning her power and the way she's been socialized. And my son, who's still a teenager, really, I just worry about his life skills. This is a boy who sleeps in a bed full of dirty dishes. I don't think he's going to make it.
It's different, right? You have a son. Jaya is growing up before Canada, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I when I found out that I was pregnant with a boy, I will admit I felt actually really relieved and really excited. Really? And maybe that's an odd thing to say. And of course, I don't want to stereotype with gender. I had no idea, but I thought, the world needs better men, and I feel like I am up to raising an amazing man.
Yes, you are. If anybody can do it, it's you.
And so I was really excited about that. And I do think there's different pressures, and I think there's societal ones, and obviously everyone's unique. In this particular case, though, I read what she was saying also just about what it would have been like to be those prime sort of youth years, which both Malia and Sasha were in the White House, and how obviously Barack, he was the president of the United States. And so he would have been occupied, and a son needs a father figure to a certain degree, maybe in those precious ages. But then I'm saying that, and I'm saying that beside you. Maybe I'm like, maybe that's what she was thinking, though.
Right, of course.
That she was thinking that he would have, the 2 girls would have looked up to their mom to some degree, and then the boy might have been looking to his dad, and that there would have been an imbalance of the amount of time spent together. It's a very particular situation.
No, it's true. And you can see really important father-son relationships. Elon and his son, Trump. Trump and his boys. You can spend too much time with daddy.
That's a good point. But there is something funny, maybe it's certainly not unique to politics, but there is something funny about people who love legacies, right? People love a legacy. And yeah, there probably would have been pressure on a young Barack Jr., if he did have a son, are you going to follow in your father's footsteps?
Yeah.
Do you want to become president? Because Barack Obama was a once-in-a-lifetime president, first male black president, right? But then I think about, our country, and Justin Trudeau was prime minister for a decade. He had no political aspirations until he delivered the eulogy at his father's funeral, and he captured so much of the wisdom and grace that people were really mourning with the loss of Pierre Elliott Trudeau. And it was, I think, public pressure that went, oh, there's another Pierre, and his name is Justin Trudeau. And at the time, I remember, I was young, but I remember thinking, oh, maybe that could be the next prime minister. So there is something about legacy that we like. But I want to ask you two, as moms of boys, I was relieved when I found out I was having a girl. I was like, okay, I know what to do with a girl because that's me. I didn't know what to do because it continues today. There is a crisis in masculinity. What does it mean to be a boy and a man in 2025? I feel for you because I don't know what the answer is. Do you?
Do you guys know what the answer is?
Well, our boy is surrounded by a lot of female energy, so he is being shaped and, kind of herded into this vessel that we'd like him to be. He just has to, the core has to
He just
be
has to
good.
figure it out. He'll
on
get
the inside.
there. He'll get there.
And if he doesn't,
We'll let you do that. You know what? I'm actually going to echo her sentiments, although I think when she made that comment, she was echoing to the fact that she had 2 very easygoing children, and people kept on asking her if she wanted to add a third, and she was like, let me not roll the dice and mess it up and get the third one. That's the one that's going to cause all of these issues. But I'm also glad for both of them that they don't have a son, because to your point, I think that boy would have been under so much pressure to be exactly like his father. And as we saw when they were in the White House, them as adults, they were under so much pressure to be perfect. In every single thing they did.
Malia smoking?
And it was a big deal. And you know what, I'm also, speaking of Malia, I love that we're watching their daughters grow up and kind of carve out their own path. And not too long ago, I don't know if you guys remember, Malia decided to change her last name because she really wants people to see her as her own person. So she calls herself Malia Ann. So I'm kind of glad for them, because when I think about Michael Jordan's son, when I think about David Beckham's son, when I think about LeBron James' son and all the scrutiny he's under, I'm like, could you imagine? Those are sports stars. Could you imagine what it would have been like for a Barack Jr.? Listen, I'm glad that kid's not here, so he can. We don't have to worry about that.
All right.
Tough one. Tough one.
We're going to move on to this. So in an interview with The New Yorker, Barbra Streisand reveals she can't remember if she slept with Warren Beatty or if they just slept in the same bed. So did they sleep together? Did they sleep together? Do we believe Barbra here? Or the other question is like, do you remember everyone you slept with?
Okay, listen, I'm gonna defend Babs, because there was a time where if I heard this, I'd be like, how can you forget people that you had sex with? That's ridiculous. Until it happened to me. I never thought I'd tell this story. Okay, so there I am anchoring the news, and I am interviewing this man. And as we were doing the interview, he's talking about what he came on to talk about. And the entire time I'm like, I know this guy. I know him. And I'm like, not junior high school, no, not high school, not this. And I'm going through all the places, and he's still talking, and I'm asking the questions, but I'm not listening to anything he's saying, because in my brain, I'm like, where do I know this guy? And just as I go to say thank you, because his name is in the teleprompter, it clicks and go, I dated that guy and had sex with him. And did not remember him until the very end. And then at the end of it, I was like, I gave him that eye like, oh, I see you. So I understand.
Was he that forgettable?
Well, that's the thing. Wow. First of all, it happened a long time ago. Perimenopause messes with the short-term, long-term memory a little bit.
Also,
nothing memorable.
Sorry, tell me you're a Scorpio without telling me you're a Scorpio.
Nothing memorable happened during that relationship. So I think my brain just kind of Control-Alt-Deleted him. And was like, let's just forget. But I kept on going, I know him. It was so weird that I completely
That's a big thing to forget.
Who are you telling? I know. And so, Babs, I understand. Obviously, Warren did not do anything in that bedroom for you to remember him.
How about you?
Come on, this is a power move. This is so on brand for Barbra. Is
Barbra a Scorpio? She should be.
No, stop. I can't. I'm glitching out with that.
Now we're going to find out. Keep talking.
It is very Sigma. I love this for her. It's like, I'm the OG diva. You remember, and I'll just remain a mystery. I love it.
So good. It's so good.
I'm looking up if she's a Scorpio. Sorry.
You're on your phone? What's going on here? I mean, it is possible. She's 80. What, 3, 4?
Yeah.
I know.
That's not
more
wrong.
memory.
You remember everybody you slept with?
I do.
I do. I was a person.
First and last name?
I mean, there is this one person who I dated for a couple of months, and I just can't remember his last name.
Last name?
Just a last name. I cannot remember.
Girl, you are way ahead of me.
Really? I feel a little bit bad about it.
Why?
I don't know. It just seems like a thing that you should remember. If you're going to be sharing bodily fluids, you should remember their name.
Yes. Okay, listen, I guess representing for the feminists out there, sometimes sex is just sex. And, can I remember everybody?
Tell me about it.
But if I wasn't on TV, they wouldn't remember me either. So it's fair.
Yeah.
It's fair.
You want us to remember the 2 minutes that we spent with every guy that we met? Not possible. It's just not possible.
Ladies. 2 minutes. Wow. You are shortchanging yourself.
Well, a writer for The Telegraph is arguing that the recent celebrity nudity trend on red carpets and album covers, it has gone too far in that it might be more shocking to start covering up again. So are we tired of the trend, or is celebrity nudity always gonna be around and interesting, actually? What do we think?
Yeah, I'm a little bit bored of it. Like, I'll be honest. I think it's maybe because of the age that we're at. We've seen it all before. And like Madonna, I feel like, was a big trendsetter. Her sex book. We saw it all. So it seems a little bit uninteresting. And I think also it's what we're seeing, where we're seeing it pop up on celebrity red carpets. It's like the Bianca Sensoris and the Julia Fox. Basically anyone who's attached to Kanye West, it doesn't really feel like they're doing it themselves. Yeah. It's more like his expression. So that doesn't feel very empowering. Yeah. And I also think, like, until I start to see like men showing up to red carpets with their junk out and front and center, then I feel like there is inherently a lack of equity on that level. But maybe that's just me. I don't know.
No.
What do you think, Elvira?
No, this feels very female-focused. It's to your point. I think every generation wants to experience the outrage. Oh, that's so nude. But it's always female nudity. What I'm against, at least with celebrity nudity, it's announced. There's either a headline on the story, you know what's coming, or someone on television is saying, look at this scandalous thing. But out in public, I'm riding my bike here today. Two guys just suddenly whip off their shirts. I'm like, oh, it's not consensual. I want to see that. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about like just random public nudity. I want less of that. And there are worse things than this much nudity. How about like some bare naked toes that should not be in sandals? You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I've seen
ones with all the hair on the knuckles.
Yeah, and then that claw toe that actually holds a flip-flop. That's holding onto your flip-flop.
You know what Jess Allen calls them? Jess Allen calls those cliffhangers. Cliffhangers.
I'm more opposed to that kind of nudity.
Okay.
Bring on, I want boobies all day. All day.
Yeah.
I'm glad my toes are in a full coverage shoot today. You know what? I'm gonna say something. I don't even notice it. I really don't even notice it. And I'm gonna blame it on this time that we were in back in 2007 to about 2009. There were 4 women: Lindsay Lohan, Tara Reid, Paris Hilton, and Britney Spears. These women were dominating the headlines, and every single night we watched them crawl out of very expensive cars without any underwear on, and we saw the nipple slips. It was a daily thing, and I was an entertainment reporter at the time. I could identify Britney Spears' labia in a police lineup easily because it was such a regular occurrence. So now when I see celebrities trying to be kind of sheer and nude, I'm like, I don't, that's not it. I don't even notice it, but I'll say this much. The nudity that was appropriate or was accepted back then, nothing's changed almost 20 years later, because it's still the same size of woman that everybody's fine with seeing half naked, and the same color of woman. Because remember, Janet Jackson years ago had that nip slip and it almost ended her career. Remember that?
Yeah, it's so true.
And nothing's changed. Let Beyonce on that tour let a nipple out. The world will come to an end.
Yeah.
The world would come to an end.
I agree. Like, I'll be honest. I'm just so, on the one hand, of course, I get it. There are still beauty standards. It's if you're tall and you're thin and you're white, we're okay with the nudity. But I also think that that's changing thanks to people like Lizzo and Ashley Graham, even Rihanna. I think it is slowly changing. I'm so tired of this conversation because in the day and age of OnlyFans and Instagram, we've seen it all. So the fact that anybody is still so precious about somebody naked on a red carpet, I'm actually really tired of people policing women's bodies. I'm really over it. I would much rather people come down just as hard on guys who don't even put in the effort and is offensive to me. And I'm looking at you, Adam Sandler, okay? So to me, I think if you're gonna police people in the way they look on red carpets, then at least look at men and either say, drop the pants or at least take a shower, okay? So just stop the talk about women, just
we
stop.
don't have time for this, but I don't know if it's that people are, yes, people do police women's bodies and that's a problem, but I don't know if it's that much. Like, sometimes it's like, I still find the naked body attractive, so I don't know what to do with myself when I'm looking. Like, if I see a naked woman on a red carpet, I'm turned on. And so, like,
Do you think it's more of a time and place?
It's a time and a place, and I want to preserve. We are humans. We are designed to find the human body attractive. So I guess I don't want to lose a little bit of that. Anyway, it's for a later conversation because we are getting the get out of this.
Yes.
So sorry.
Look at that arm. It's about to come off of Kwame's body.
It's true. Elvira, we love having you here.
I love that.
Take it off.
Naked?
Take it off.
Nude Elvira? Oh my gosh.
Someone put their glasses on.
Subscribe to the Social Podcast so you don't miss a fiery debate. Until next time, socialites.